We got this. This is the official box for the ZWQ Baize. So this is how it'll come to you. Nice packaging that we'll rebox for you. Open it up. Got some good foam in here. There she is. Got a user manual. That's all. Looks like a little bit in English as well. Pretty basic stuff. They do have a list of all the parts though. That's kind of nice. So this is what it comes with. You'll have a magazine with it. Your pistol grip. Looks like they do come with hex keys and a lot of extra screws. I'm not sure what these big screws are for though. That must be for if you have different grips perhaps, but we'll take a look at that. You actually have ambidextrous bolt handles for left and right, and some their new EVA darts, or whatever they're calling them. They're basically bamboos with dart zone type heads, so they're actually really good performing. But we'll look at the Baize. They've shrink wrapped it for us, so that's interesting. Rip that off. This shell looks even better quality than the sample they sent. I don't know why, but this seems to be more like the Worker Harrier shell, actually. That's really exciting. The original shell was more of a glossy finish. Gives it that kind of a smooth toy feel. But this has more of that Worker Harrier, almost like sandblasted, tumble polished surface finish to it, which I like a lot better actually. Yeah, it's really nice. So real quick assembly here, and we'll see what it is out of the box. Got our grip. Of course, our little dinky 6-round mag. Dinky because it holds like 6 rounds. That's 7 rounds, something like that. The big screws are for these guys. So they did do some design changes. It's nice. These are nice ball and hex keys and nice and long, so these will be really handy for changing out grips on other blasters. So what we'll do is we'll just insert our flat nut or square nut, and then we'll put a washer on our metric screw. And we'll use that to set, screw in like that. Slide it off. Nice and tight. I like my handles nice and tight. Push it on. Line up that screw. There we go. Solid. You have actually, I think it's metal right there for the safety. Yeah, this is nice. Way better than sample. Except for one difference is that these actually just use self-tapping screws to just go straight into the plastic there. So a little less nice of insulation on those, but still okay. There you go. So you can see the detail they put in it. Let's see how the seal is out of the box. This version has a shorter barrel. Stops about here. So show you that. Oh, and these keys you give you to install it are not the keys you'd use to take it apart. So let's just put some chronograph real quick so we get a baseline sampling here. So we've got the darts that came with it. We've got Worker Gen 3 and Worker Bamboo. Straight out of the box. All I did is put on the grip and the bolt handles. So we'll do the darts they sent us, or sent with all the bases, I believe. They're pretty proud of these darts. Primes and locks just fine. I love the finish on these plastic. That's a kind of tight, no, that's like a perfect mag well. When you hit the button, perfection. All right, let's try these blue darts they sent first. They're over the bottom. 168. 181. 171. 180, 183. So that's way better out of the box than the sample they sent. It's a little stiff. I maybe would go through and last round lockout. I'd probably go through and make sure that that's lubed a little more, but that's not bad out of the box at all. Next we'll try brand new Gen 3 Plus darts or high-end Gen 3s. 187.7, 182.3, 194.4, 181.2, 174.6. Last round lockout. So yeah, 184 average with Gen 3s. Now we'll try these used worker bamboo darts. 177.9, 178.9, 183.9, 188.4, 185.2, 182.8 average with worker bamboos. So that is not bad out of the box with a 1.5 spring. A couple things to note though is the barrel is shorter than the default, so that's why I probably didn't quite hit 200 out of the box. The sample they sent us, a 2-foot barrel here. This one is a little bit shorter, and we'll measure that. But we'll show you real quick how to mod or switch out the springs on your Baize. And if you want, you can put the right-hand bolt action on it as well. Here, so we'll do a 2, a 2.5. Take off these guys. These are nice and tight. Okay. Then you can take off the shroud. We'll pop these guys out. Off the bottom there. That open real quick. Slide the shroud out. Nice red barrel. There you go. Now, so this one's got a new chambering on it as well. That's sizably shorter than the other barrel in the sample. Okay, so we'll see what we can do with the next spring up, which is the 1.7 spring. 1.6 is kind of out of stock, so we have a 1.7 here. But yeah, already hitting 180s or so with the shorter barrel and the 1.5 spring. Oh, here's the air seal out of the box. Yeah, that's nice. So shorter barrel. Gives you that performance there. Then we'll switch out the spring by taking off the stock. Should note that the next step up would be a spring spacer, not a 1.7. So you could put any sort of spring spacer you want in there, or you could do like I did with our sample and use a spring guide and use a worker Harrier spring or a Swift spring. But this is a 2mm hex key. Undo that one there and that one there, and these are the same length as the rails, so you don't have to worry about keeping them separate. Not a quick spring swap, but definitely not bad. And then we can just open this up here, pop out the spring. So this is the default spring, it's a 1.5. I'm gonna try to open this a little more. See if you guys ears, there you go. So I'm gonna 1.7. And to help keep the spring aligned, I find it helps to prime the blaster. So you have the plunger and the spring guide pop out on you, that you can put the spring around that. And as you put the spring in, then you can push the plunger back down, and it just helps that make sure that that spring sits in the middle of that plunger. Push it all the way in, clamp the shell together, there you go. Button this down real quick and then test fire a little more. see what we get out of the box with the 1.7 spring. We're gonna do the Gen 3s first. Gen 3 pluses. Got 5 of those guys. And here we go. 274. Huh. Okay, 242. More like it. 268. That's with a shorter barrel. 268.2. That was a duplicate 268.2. Yeah, 272.4. That is insanely consistent with one bad dart. 265 average with the Gen 3s. We'll try the bamboo darts. 273. 248. Feel like the exact same thing did before. 238. Uh-oh. Something happened. 260. 275. So the used worker darts, the used bamboo darts are worn out, so it hurt our performance. Normally those would hit harder or higher, but the brand new Gen 3s are hitting well over, 270s. Here's the air seal with the 1.7 spring. Yeah, you can see it's starting to leak now. So re-lubing that, maybe dry it out in transport. You can hear it leaking now, so maybe my first 20 shots broke in the lube a little bit too much, so it could stand to be re-lubed. But that prime is already super smooth, so I'm gonna try with the next spring up, which is a 1.8, and you can still use a spring spacer and get almost an inch more compression on that if you wanted to. So with the 1.7, yeah, you'd be good. So I used a Swift spring 1.6 with the spacer, longer barrel to get 400. So right now it's a 1.7 spring without full compression and a shorter barrel, not a perfect air seal, hitting 270s or so. So make that air seal a little better and add a little more compression to that 1.7, you're hitting 400 easy. So 1.7 spring, not quite doing it, just about to 300. That's with a shorter barrel. So if we actually use a longer barrel, I bet we'd get some of that back, which we could try. So this is the barrel that the sample came with. Different chamber length, really. Looks like they did fix that though. But yeah, it's 4 inches longer, not a ton. So there's the difference in the barrels. So yeah, about 4 inches or so. Test that air seal. Similar, still a little leaky. We'll see what that does with the 1.7 and a longer barrel, and then we'll put the 1.8. So we got with the 1.7 spring, longer barrel, and a little leaky air seal. 253. 245. So it went down in performance. Good to know that my air seal is definitely leaky. 236. Yeah. So that air seal barrel combo, not great. Let's do, so that was a 1.7. I want to do a spring spacer. 1.7 with the spring spacer would be great. All right, 1.7 spring with the spacer. Still an easy prime. 290 with the 1.7, not even a 1.8. 274. 279. 279. Repeat. 281. Hitting 280s. It's not a bad prime, not stock.